A local food bank is delivering boxes of food for underprivileged people in Taiwan suffering from pandemic. A COVID patient is comforted by a head nurse in Jingse Publications as he worries about the health of family. I'm Sean Scallon. This is DAI Headlines. Let's get started. The pandemic in Taiwan has led residents to stock up on food, which has hindered supplies for disadvantaged groups. The 1919 food bank delivered food boxes to those in need. Take a look.
就是多装的这个电热水器的部分。
The bathroom inside the food bank's warehouse has a water heater installed to prepare for the worst if and when it hits level 4 pandemic in Taiwan, as the country can go into lockdown, but feeding the people must continue.
We've talked things over with our association, and as of right now, this is our warehouse in Bali. If it hits level 4 pandemic, then the workers will live here.
This warehouse in New Taipei City was recently established. The director of the food bank, Zhang Qianfang, noticed recently that society has begun to stockpile food, as prices have increased as well.
Take masks for instance. In the beginning, when we bought them for these families, one box was about 100 NT dollars, and now prices have increased to 170 or 180.
Mask prices have increased 70 to 80%, while instant noodles and cans are not available from their wholesale resources.
I think everyone is stockpiling food at home. These instant noodles were ordered directly from the factory. We couldn't purchase them from our regular wholesale resource.
These boxes are to help the pandemic's emergency food box program. In just 10 days, 1,570 families have successfully applied for a box, with 70% of them losing their job due to the pandemic and having trouble stocking food in the house.
Some don't have jobs and their children don't have food to eat because they can't go to school, so those families have financial problems. When we receive information about that, we will immediately send out food box to them. We estimated 2,000 boxes, but after the first week, we discovered so many more people need help, so we prepared 2,000 more boxes.
To send the food to those in need in a hurry, these workers are so busy, they barely have time for the bathroom or a drink of water. Each box is stuffed with 8 kilograms worth of food and can provide a family of 4 many days of food.
There are 2 packs of rice and 5 instant noodle packs, also convenient noodles. I believe this amount of food can last a family for a week.
The food bank did not anticipate the number of applicants they'd have. Sometimes, in just one day, they will have to send out 270 food boxes, which the post office helps to deliver. However, sometimes, no matter how fast they move, their food boxes don't always get to the recipient. And when their food box gets returned, they feel sad and useless.
He said the recipient died. When we heard about that, we were so sad. It was just 2 days. The deceased had called us, said she needed food, so we hurried to send it out. Then the postman tried to deliver it, but they couldn't find her.
This scenario is really just one story of many. There are many families in Taiwan who are hungry due to the pandemic. Zhang describes that sometimes one coin is all the difference to the family.
For these disadvantaged families, 1 coin, 1 penny is very important to them.
Each day, the director looks at his budget to move things around, and once he uses up his resources for this month's emergency packages, he will refill it from the later months. He has been doing so since the pandemic started.
I've moved the July resources to this month, which means we will have to look for additional funding to fill up the 10,000 packs we used up already.
Each box serves as hope for a family needing assistance. Although the pandemic may have separated people physically, hope continues to hold us all close together.
A level 3 pandemic alert continues in Taiwan as Jingse Dharma masters were busy packing supplies for the underprivileged, hoping to deliver materials to those in need as soon as possible. Summer vacation is about to start and nearly 3,000 care boxes need to be distributed. Dharma masters at Hualien's Jingse abode cannot bear the hunger of children.
Everyone is also very willing to contribute their efforts. I hope to help some of our folks facing the severe circumstances of this pandemic get some peace of mind.
As long as there's an opportunity, Tzu Chi Foundation colleagues use their vacation to help with the packing. They're grateful that they have a healthy body to be able to contribute.
To be safe and healthy means I can also put some effort into it. In fact, I'm very happy in my heart. Because of this pandemic, many people are affected financially, so we should express this love to everyone in need.
The weather is hot and everyone has to wear a mask to work, but no one is tired. They only hope that every daily necessities will be delivered quickly and safely to those in need. U.S. FEMA has donated epidemic prevention materials to Taiwan with the assistance of Tzu Chi Dallas branch and Yangming Marine, which sponsored the transport fee. 53,000 pieces of protective clothing will arrive in 3 weeks.
This morning, we mobilized more than 30 volunteers to arrange the containers. This is already the second container. I hope this batch of containers can return to Taiwan smoothly.
Texas in early June has entered the summer season. The warehouse is hot and the volunteers are sweating, but they never stop to rest.
For your help and dedication, we express our heartfelt thanks.
This batch of supplies was donated by FEMA. The local pandemic situation is gradually slowing down, and there is spare capacity to share. Tzu Chi volunteers serve as a bridge to repay kindness, and Yangming Shipping also participates in the grand event.
I am very grateful to the company authorities as they pay great attention to social welfare and agreed to send these supplies from Dallas to Keelung Port in Taiwan. The whole sea freight is free.
3 large containers and more than 50,000 pieces of protective clothing are expected to arrive in 3 weeks. This will add more supplies to Taiwan's pandemic prevention work. In the United States, 28% of Spanish-speaking immigrants belong to low-income families. After the pandemic, their living situation became even worse, with Tzu Chi Long Island volunteers starting to distribute fruits and vegetables to Hispanic residents twice a week.
The house situated at the backyard, which is less than 70 square meters, accommodates 2 to 3 single mothers raising 7 to 8 children. This is a typical life of many Spanish-speaking immigrants without legal status in the United States.
The doctor said that another chemotherapy treatment will be done next week. It is very painful and uncomfortable.
Single mother Selena suffered from lung cancer more than a year ago and has suspended work. The family of 5 suddenly had problems in living. Without legal status, Selena was not eligible for many subsidies.
It's a vegetable, okay, vegetable. Dry food, right? Yeah, today we have a lot of stuff.
Fortunately, there are Tzu Chi volunteers who bring fruits, vegetables, dry food and living allowance to Selena every month, so that her family do not have to go hungry.
We come to visit her every month and give her emergency funds and a cash card to buy daily necessities. At present, we have food distribution, so we give her a box of food.
After the pandemic outbreak, all Hispanic communities across the nation have been facing a more serious hunger problem. Even the wealthy Long Island in New York is also like this. Since last July, Tzu Chi started fruit and vegetable distribution at the Long Island Tzu Chi office. Tzu Chi Long Island branch has passed the application of the government food bank earlier this year to distribute twice a week. 90% of the recipients are from Hispanic families. In order to encourage the Spanish-speaking residents who mainly eat meat diet to eat more fruits and vegetables, Tzu Chi has cooperated with the local hospital in Long Island. Nutritionists were present at the distribution site to host health seminars and share vegetarian recipes.
So when we look at the plate, what we'd like to try to do is fill up half your plate with fruit, salad, vegetables, These foods are good sources of fiber.
Not only health education, volunteers also set up spiritual education stations. The little book of Jingxi aphorisms is printed in 3 languages, including Chinese, English, and Spanish. Volunteers selected some Jingxi aphorisms in the book to convey the idea of doing good and helping others while interacting with everyone.
Wisdom means that you are very smart.
Dream is at a managerial level of a local hospital. In the Tzu Chi's fruits and vegetables distribution after the pandemic outbreak, he not only fought for donations from the hospital, but also was the on-site volunteer.
Even during the COVID pandemic, you are very organized. You schedule people at certain times, social distancing, wear masks, and it's amazing. So we want to be good partners.
A pack of fruits and vegetables gave the Hispanic families affected by the pandemic an actual support. It also drove the wealthy Long Island residents to give back to the community. Through this action of helping the poor and inspiring the rich has led the residents of Long Island, where there is disparity between the rich and the poor, help each other in harmony.
A 150-kilogram COVID patient was in critical condition and received intubation after being hospitalized. The medical team stayed by his side as he worried about his infected family members. The head nurse also prepared Jingxi publications to calm his mind.
A COVID patient, Mr. Jian, was admitted to Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital. Both his mother and younger brother who lived with him were also diagnosed. However, his younger brother, who was staying in other hospital, fell into a coma. Mr. Jian was worried and cried.
He just asked casually if we had the heart suture for him to settle his mind. I saw some Tzu Chi books like the Lotus Sutra and Water Repentance, so we showed him the books. After he read the books, I found that he was calmer.
In the past, his family members would buy Jingxi publications. Seeing familiar books, his anxiety had settled down.
祈福啊，读一下那个就是师父的书，让心情平静一下。他很醒过来。
Recalling his poor condition before, he was extremely anxious after intubation. Worrying about him, the medical team waited until his condition became stabilized before leaving.
还是非常感谢所有的那个医护人员，因为医师不清楚，对那些师兄们就是有那个。
Medical personnel all know how to protect themselves and also protect patients. He was indeed quite difficult to be taken care of, but he did not have rude behavior. In fact, when he was conscious or without intubation, he is a very cooperative patient.
After recovering from a lethal disease, he was discharged with everyone's blessings. It is hoped that his brother can be over the hump as soon as possible and the family can reunite shortly.
Vaccinations in Malaysia will soon be underway, and to prepare for the massive undertaking, besides private hospitals or clinics being asked to give vaccinations, the Jingxi Hall, Kuala Lumpur, was asked to be a vaccination point.
To increase the speed at which vaccinations are available for the public, Malaysia's government is asking for help in all different sectors, including setting up a vaccination center at the Kuala Lumpur Jingxi Hall.
So this will be the first area, waiting area, and there will be a registration start to my suggestion to say that they have arrived in that listing.
Still at station 1?
Yes, still at station 1.
The traffic flow is set up to ensure efficiency and speed, as the Tzu Chi volunteers dedicate their time to the setup.
Today we are setting up the tables and chairs, and next week we'll set up the actual vaccination areas.
The Jingxi Hall is separated into 6 stations to follow the vaccination procedure. This venue is estimated to be able to serve about 600 people a day.
怀这是一罐疫苗的这个 vial 呢，只能打6个人。 所以就是因为这样的情况下，我们可能在
A vial of Pfizer vaccination is good for 6 people, so under that situation, we'll set up the traffic flow for groups of 6. The other vaccinations don't have that limitation, so it can be an assembly line where the shots are one after another.
不需要规划说一个 vial 要打6个人这么快，所以说你可以用流水动线的方式，这样一个一个这样打下去都可以。
To ensure proper safety measures are followed, there are sanitizing stations and the chairs for waiting are kept to 1 meter in distance.
刚刚这个警方呢来
The police came by to check out our setup, and they were willing to send someone to be on site so as to dispute any trouble or problems we may come across during the vaccination.
安排一个警员呢，每一天呢坐住我们这个场地。尽量是知道1 way， 他就不会有 problem。
I think it's good. 就现在的准备已经
The preparation is nearly complete, and this place looks very comfortable. I believe this will be a great place to get vaccinated.
很好的接种中心。
In Malaysia, the Minister of Education has announced that from June 14th to July 17th, students must attend online courses at home. For parents who are working at home, how to help their children learn is a big challenge. Let's take a look at how a mother in Malaysia plans a daily schedule for her child.
Since the pandemic broke out, there has been 99 education-related infection groups in Malaysia. Until June 2nd, there has been 12,000 education-related confirmed COVID cases. To reduce the risk of infection at schools, Minister of Education has announced that, starting from June 14th till July 17th, students must attend online courses at home. As the students attend online courses at home, the parents have to learn to arrange their time at home.
We encourage the parents to prepare a schedule for daily activities for their children. What time do they get up? When do they attend online courses? When do they take naps? When do they play? When do they ride bicycles? This way they will spend their time well and have time to spend with their parents.
Besides coming up with a daily schedule, the teacher also suggests parents to design games for children. This way, they can improve parent-child relationship and stimulate children's thinking ability.
At home, the parents should set up some corners for their children. For instance, they can have a corner with dolls, a corner with Legos, and a corner with handicrafts. Try not to watch TV programs because as children sit around watching TV, they're not thinking but only receiving information.
As the Malaysian government implemented movement control order since June 1st, Quinn Xiaoping has started to work at home. She followed the teacher's advice and designed a daily schedule for her child. This way, she can help the child learn while playing.
We have arranged his time. Each day he studies online at 9:30 to 10:30. After that, he'll do his homework until 12 o'clock. By the afternoon, I'll let him draw since he enjoys drawing. Then I'll read him stories or do some handicrafts together. When I'm making bread, I'll give him a dough. When children have the chance to participate in activities, they'll be very happy.
As the pandemic has trapped the students at home, their homes have become their classrooms. If the parents can spend time and efforts to help their children learn, when they return to school, the students will be able to catch up with their classmates.
With the outbreak of the pandemic, there has been an explosion of fake messages. This is something that not only journalists have to be aware of, but also the public. How does one judge the truth? The Taiwan Fact-Checking Center stated that if information is contradictory or sensational, one must be more vigilant. Furthermore, it said to check official websites and get information from mainstream media outlets.
Pandemic in Taipei and New Taipei is worsening, and chemical disinfecting teams are going through the streets and alleys. A message has been circulating on social media platforms from May 14th, warning everyone on the 14th and 15th to be sure to close the doors and windows tightly and don't buy food from roadside stalls or open kitchens on the side of the road because the chemicals sprayed by disinfecting teams are very poisonous.
Generally, the disinfectant used in the environment is mainly a diluted bleach, usually diluted to 0.1% bleach, and basically the toxicity is very, very low.
人体的毒性呢是非常低的。
因为那时候疫情刚出来，然后一直在就是。
Because the pandemic just broke out and disinfection was being carried out everywhere, we thought it was true at first sight. We thought it was true, but then we learned that Taipei City on Friday and Saturday did not have any special disinfection.
5、6就是没有特别额外的消毒。
All kinds of rumors flooded the internet, and the sensational text and pictures stunned reporters.
One person traveled to the suburbs and see this burning corpse, risking his life to take this photo, and secretly passed it to me. He begs President Tsai to save the suffering people. Our reporter saw this startling scene and thought that this couldn't be happening in Taiwan, and the images didn't seem right, so I began to search for these images and then saw that it was from a movie. This is something that is obvious fake news.
The Verification Center cooperates with Google, with photo searches appearing in algorithm, and the first page will show whether the photo and message are fake.
其实我们会有这种一眼破解讯息。
In fact, we can tell if this is false information at a glance. For example, it says, during the pandemic, after receiving important information, everyone should hurry up to buy food for about a month, along with daily necessity, and immediately go to the bank to withdraw money. When we receive a message like this, we actually need to look and see who is the source of the message. If there is no such source, it should be doubted.
消息来源都没有的话，其实是要存疑的。
False information often makes people feel nervous and afraid, and then lose their rational judgment. Sometimes for a product, celebrities are invited for their endorsement. For example, one such message is you can measure lung fibrosis by holding your breath for 10 seconds. On the internet, someone pretend to be Tzu Chi, Health Promotion Director General. Other messages create a fictional character serving in a medical hospital or a large institution to make people believe.
我们在做这些查证的时候，有一大部分呢，其实就是传统的新闻学。那我们做的事情跟记者一样。
When we do this verification, a large part of it is traditional journalism. We simply interview people, ask chatbots the officials as experts, and verify the content, and then read the original message and interpret data. These are the basic skills of reporters. And the other part is to keep up with the present digital age. For example, searching pictures and identifying geographical features, or the weather and other details to solve the case.
去辨识里面的一些气候啦、气象啦、车牌等等细节，然后就可以来做破案。
台湾现在疫情严峻，所以呢，每天
Taiwan is now suffering from a serious pandemic, so we receive related information almost every day. But these messages are not necessarily correct. The Taiwan Fact-Checking Center has a small tech assistant, which is a chatbot, which you can know whether your message is true or false.
是真的还是假的？
The pandemic is quite severe, and information about epidemic prevention is flying all over the internet. We remind everyone that when you see such a message, you must think about it first and be a little suspicious. With more thorough checks, don't just send it randomly.
Graduation season has begun in the U.S. with the Tzu Chi school in Orange County, California, choosing to do it online, while one in Boston did it safely outdoors. We leave you with these images. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.